Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Namadu wa nasalli ala Rasulihil Kareem. Welcome to the Foreign Ministry. On the direction of the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, the Special Representative for Afghanistan, Ambassador Mohammad Sadiq, visited Kabul 21st-23rd March 2025. The Special Representative called on the Acting Foreign Minister of Afghanistan, Amir Khan Muttaqi, on 22nd March. During the meeting, both sides exchanged views on all issues of mutual concern, including peace and security, trade and economic cooperation, as well as people-to-people contacts. The Special Representative reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to continued engagement and mutually beneficial ties with Afghanistan and underscored the importance of addressing all issues of concern, particularly security, to further consolidate bilateral ties. Both sides agreed to enhance high-level engagement and dialogue to strengthen bilateral cooperation. The two sides also reinforced the commitment to a mutually beneficial bilateral relationship with a view to achieving lasting regional peace and stability. The Special Representative also met with Acting Commerce Minister of Afghanistan, Nuruddin Azizi. Both sides discussed bilateral trade and economic relations, as well as cooperation in the areas of transit and connectivity. The Special Representative reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to reinforcing mutually beneficial ties with Afghanistan. The two sides agreed to harness full potential of regional trade and connectivity for the mutual benefit of both countries. Upon his return, the Special Representative briefed the Deputy Prime Minister about his meetings with the Afghan leadership. The Deputy Prime Minister expressed satisfaction at the discussions held with the Afghan side and issued directions to further consolidate bilateral ties, including through high-level engagement and enhancement of trade and transit cooperation. We have taken note of press release issued by certain UN experts, which appears to be based on selective and unverified media reports. It is imperative that public statements of this nature adhere to principles of objectivity, avoid selective criticism, reflect factual accuracy, and acknowledge full context of the situation. Regrettably, these comments lack balance and proportionality, downplaying civilian casualties inflicted by terrorist attacks while disregarding the crimes committed by miscreants who deliberately disrupt public services, obstruct freedom of movement, and create an atmosphere of insecurity. Any credible assessment must recognize that these elements are not mere protesters, but active participants in a broader campaign of lawlessness and violence. Their abuses of law and human rights violations cannot be ignored. Hiding behind a facade of alleged grievances, these elements are operating in collusion with terrorists, evident from their coordinated efforts to obstruct state responses, including synchronized roadblocks facilitating terrorist attacks. The latest proof of this nexus was their unlawful storming of the district hospital in Quetta, where they forcibly seized the bodies of 5 terrorists eliminated during the Jafar Express hostage rescue operation. 3 of these bodies were retrieved back from these violent protesters by the police. Legal proceedings against these individuals are being conducted strictly in accordance with the law of the land. Any statement by UN mandate holders that cast aspersions on these proceedings risks undue interference in sub judice matters before domestic courts. Such interventions not only undermine the rule of law, but also set a troubling precedent of disregarding sovereign legal processes. Furthermore, this pattern of selective and disproportionate focus by the UN machinery serves no constructive purpose. Instead, it inadvertently emboldens extremist elements, fuels unwarranted media sensationalism, incites disorder, and most alarmingly, exacerbates societal polarization and fragmentation. It is both perplexing and deeply ironic that the statement issued by the UN special procedures and mandate holders stands in stark contradiction to the very essence and spirit of UN's own Resolution 2354. Rather than supporting a sovereign state in its determined and resolute efforts to combat terrorism, such statements risk legitimizing extremist narratives, an outcome that is not only counterproductive but also fundamentally at odds with the principles the UN purports to uphold. International human rights law unequivocally prohibits individuals, entities, or groups from weaponizing rights to infringe upon the rights and security of others. It also firmly upholds the right of sovereign states to take lawful and necessary action to maintain public order and ensure the safety of their citizens. The government is duty bound to protect the lives and security of its people, particularly in areas where innocent civilians bear the brunt of foreign sponsored terrorism. It has consistently pursued policies aimed at fostering social and economic development for all segments of society, regardless of ethnic or religious background. However, the persistent threat posed by terrorists and their enablers through heinous attacks on civilians, security forces, and vital public infrastructure undermines these efforts. In this regard, the measures undertaken by the government are fully consistent with international law, which categorically prohibits incitement to violence and terrorism. There can be no tolerance, let alone impunity, for terrorists, their facilitators, or their abettors. Institutional and legal mechanisms remain fully available for all citizens seeking redress in accordance with their constitutional rights. We maintain an open and constructive dialogue with UN special procedures mandate holders and will continue our engagement based on principles of mutual respect, objectivity, and adherence to facts. Pakistan welcomes the recently agreed upon limited ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, which prohibits attacks on energy infrastructure and ensures safe navigation in the Black Sea. We appreciate the active engagement of the US administration and its leadership in securing the agreement between Russia and Ukraine. We remain optimistic that the new momentum generated by these initial steps will eventually lead to comprehensive and permanent ceasefire. Pakistan's position on Ukraine conflict has been consistent. Pakistan has enjoyed friendly relations with both Russia and Ukraine. We have always advocated dialogue and diplomacy, immediate cessation of hostilities, and peaceful resolution of this conflict. Israel's continued and repeated incursions and airstrikes into the Syrian territory, continued violation of 1974 disengagement of forces agreement, and its declared intent for an indefinite presence and full demilitarization of Syria are unacceptable, constitute blatant violation of Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and undermine international law and regional stability. A durable peace in Syria hinges on a credible political transition, national unity, and reconciliation and inclusive governance. We have learned with serious concern that Indian authorities have conducted scores of raids on residences belonging to members of different constituents of all parties Hurriyat Conference in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The intent of these raids is to crush dissent and intimidate the local people. We urge the Indian authorities to stop these oppressive measures and respect the fundamental rights and freedom of Kashmiri people, including their right to self-determination. I thank you. The floor is open for questions. Ji, the last one.